Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is D'Angela Vaughn if you are new here, and if you are not new here, then welcome back to the clique. So if you've been following along with my clinical mental health counseling journey, then you know that I recently graduated from Grand Canyon University, and I technically graduated in March, but I participated in the commencement ceremony on May 1st, and I really just wanted to go because I've never been to Phoenix and I've never been to the Grand Canyon, so I really just wanted to go and do some sightseeing. And I actually did a full vlog on my trip if you guys want to check that out after this one. But yeah, so now that I have officially graduated, now it was time for me to get licensed, which I just got, and I'm so excited, y'all. I'm so official. So to be a clinical mental health counselor, you have to get licensed in whatever state you plan to practice in. And that includes if you plan to do private practice, if you plan to work at an agency or a hospital, it doesn't matter. Wherever you plan to work, you have to have a license to be able to legally do that. So in this video, I'm just going to go through the licensing process and just give you guys all the details about how to get licensed as a counselor. So first of all, let's just talk about the license itself. So when you first graduate with your master's, you are not able to practice independently yet. So you have to be under the supervision of another counselor for 3,000 hours before you can begin to practice at the independent level. And what they call the different licenses depends on which state you live in. But in the state that I live in, this first initial license is called an ALC, or an associate licensed counselor. So that is what I have right now. And literally on my license certificate, it says that I am duly licensed to engage in counseling under the supervision of, and then it has the name of my supervisor. So basically what this means is that I have to check in with my supervisor while I'm getting these 3,000 hours. I can't just go off and do whatever I want and start counseling people without letting her know first. And it's because her license is basically completely tied to my license. So if I go out there and I mess up or I do something crazy, then her license is on the line. And essentially this is just to protect the public. All right, so they want to make sure that you are absolutely ready to begin counseling on your own. And they know that when you first come out of school, you may not have all the experience yet that's needed to practice at the independent level. So they just want to make sure that you are getting supervision at least for a year to 3 years until you're ready to be completely on your own. And you literally cannot even get your ALC until you have a supervisor. So that's a really important step after you graduate, finding a supervisor. And I was able to find my supervisor just using Psychology Today. I just searched like supervisors near me and a bunch of them popped up, and you pretty much just have to reach out to different supervisors and see which ones have openings, and most of them do charge, so you need to figure out what their price is and see if it's going to work for you. But I will talk more about the supervision process in another video. For this video, we're going to pretty much stick to the licensing process. So let's talk about applying for your license. So again, it's going to depend on which state you're in, but in the state that I live in, all I had to do was just go on the counseling board's website, and they actually had a form on there that was like ALC initial application. So I just had to download that, and the top of the application basically just talks about what the ALC is for, and it talks about how you're not able to provide any counseling until the board has issued you your ALC. And then it goes into some details about what your education requirements are. So for me, you had to have a master's degree in counseling, and you would have to submit your official transcripts from that counseling degree once you finished the degree. Next, it talked about if you had any other licenses, you would have to report those, but I didn't have anything else, so I just got to skip that part. And next, they had the worksheet for all of your coursework, and I just had to put on there all of the courses that I took at Grand Canyon. And basically, you had to like put the courses in the different categories that were required for my state. So for instance, if there was a topic that was about like working with groups or group work, I would just put in the course that I took about group counseling in that spot. Pretty simple. And again, they were pretty much just trying to make sure that the courses that you took at your school were sufficient to meet the requirements of the counseling board. So if your school is CACREP accredited, then you probably don't really have to worry about this, because that's literally what CACREP is for, is to make sure that all of the topics that you're supposed to learn and know to be a counselor, they make sure that that school is offering a course about that topic. So it's really more of an issue if your school is not CACREP accredited. And in that case, you just need to look at the curriculum and make sure that there is a course for everything that your state requires. And if not, you might need to go and take some extra courses to fulfill those different requirements. And lastly, for my application, I had to fill out the proposed plan of supervision. And this is exactly what I was talking to you guys earlier about with the 3,000 hours and working with your supervisor. So essentially, on the proposed plan of supervision, you have to put the name of your supervisor, you have to put like all of their license information, and then basically they put on there like how they're going to evaluate you and how they're going to ensure that you get your 3,000 hours. So basically, this is just the board's way of verifying that you actually are going to be working towards your 3,000 hours to get your independent license. And after you've done all that, you just have to sign the application. And just a heads up, in my state, I had to get the application as well as the proposed plan of supervision notarized. So keep that in mind if that's required for your state as well. All right, so now I'm going to just talk about a few things that were a bit of a holdup for me for my application, and I'm thinking that it might apply to some of you all as well. So the first thing is, even though you really want to start applying for your license as you get close to graduating, just so that you can like get the ball rolling, it's really difficult to do that because one of the requirements is an official transcript from your master's program. And as you know, you don't really get your official transcript until you've finished the whole program. So I literally had pretty much everything ready except for the transcripts, and I had to just wait on my school to send those. So there's not really much you can do in that department. You just have to kind of be patient. The next thing that was a holdup was that in my state, they reviewed all of the applications at their board meetings, and their board meetings were only held once a month. So if you happen to graduate and let's say they just had a board meeting, you're gonna have to wait until next month before they'll even look at your application. So I don't know how it is in other states. It might be that they meet more often in other states or maybe less often in other states. So again, that's just something to have in mind. So the last thing that was a holdup was this proposed plan of supervision. So on the plan, they wanted you to put your supervisor, but also put where you plan to be working to get these 3,000 hours. Seems simple enough. However, as I talked about in one of my previous videos, the jobs want you to have your ALC license first. So it's like the job wants you to have the ALC license, but in order to apply for the license, they want you to have the job. So it's like very, very annoying and frustrating at times. But thankfully for me, the job that I interviewed for, that I'm actually going to be starting next week, when she interviewed me, I let her know like, hey, I'm working on my ALC. I pretty much have everything ready. I'm just waiting on my transcripts. I'm just waiting on the job so I can put that on the proposed plan of supervision. And then I knew the board meeting was coming up this month, so I was able to give her a specific date and an estimate of how long it would take me to get my license. And she was just like, oh, I understand the process. Just let us know when you officially have your license and then you can start, because we really like you. So basically, I had the job even though I did not have my license yet. So that might not be the case everywhere, and you might have to kind of look around to find a place that's going to kind of work with you. But overall, I would say be prepared to wait a little bit before you're able to officially get your license and start working as a counselor. Do not expect to graduate and then be able to start your job right away, especially if they want you to have that license first. Because the license process could take a month, it could take 2 months, 3 months. It just kind of depends. So if you already have a job, like while you're working on your master's, don't quit your job right when you graduate. Like, wait a little bit, because there might be a lapse in time between graduation and starting your first counseling job. All right, so how long did it take me to actually get the license after I turned it in? So the board met on May 17th, which was Friday. And by Monday, I received an email saying that I had been approved and I could bring my license fee to the office. Pause. There was also a fee to even turn in the application, so just keep that in mind. So that same Monday, I took my licensing fee down to the office, and by the next day, they emailed me my license. So again, for me, it was very quick once they met at the board. But if there's anything incorrect or anything missing in your application packet, this can slow down the process. So just make sure you double and triple check, make sure that everything is correct, make sure that whatever those requirements are, that you have those included so that you can get your license as quickly as possible. So what's next after this? So now I'm going to start my job. Again, orientation is next week, and I'm going to be working at a behavioral health clinic, which I'm super, super excited about. And I will be working there, getting my 3,000 hours. I'll be meeting with my supervisor every week. And once I get all of my hours, I will then be able to apply for my independent license, which then I will be an LPC, which is a licensed professional counselor. And at that point, I'll be able to work wherever completely on my own. And of course, I will be doing more follow-up videos as we move along in this journey. I will do another video about the supervision process. I'll probably do some videos about my job. But again, this video was just for the licensing application process. So if you guys have any questions, if there was anything that wasn't clear, just let me know down in the comments. I always reply to all of my comments, and I can also do follow-up videos if there's something that needs more of an explanation. You can also check out my counseling playlist. I have videos in there about the NCE exam and how I passed it. I have videos about the practicum, internship, all types of things. So make sure you head over there and check out that playlist if you are interested. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also join the clique by hitting that subscribe button. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.